What's up, guys? It's Siah from the motherfucking block, and I'd like to welcome you to this new channel that I've started called The District Era. So basically what the District Era is, it's just this channel that I've created so I can tell and express some of the stories that I've been through and some of just the crazy shit that I've seen from like
some of my times up in college, some of my gaming stories, shit I deal with, smoking, getting lit with the homies, and just the general struggles of fucking life. So let's get it started.
Alright, guys, so the story that I have for you today is a story from my junior year in high school, and it's basically from homecoming. Alright, so like I said, this kind of all took place during my junior year of high school, which was like 2013, maybe late 2012. Not long ago. But you know. So at this time in my life, I was kind of changing. My life was like my high school experience, I should say, was completely flipped compared to my freshman and sophomore year to my junior and senior year. Just because this is the year that I started playing football. But that's besides the point. So I decided to play football. And then I got close with the football players and started hanging out with them. And we got to homecoming week, and I think we only had about 4 or 5 games left in the season. And by that time, I had gotten pretty close with the jocks. If you're into the whole labels thing. But yeah, I pretty much went from hanging out with like the nerds my freshman and sophomore year, and then hanging out with like the jocks my junior and senior year. So kind of my high school years kind of flipped. And then homecoming night was just kind of like the initial start of how everything changed, pretty much. So I met up with a friend of mine who also was on the team, Takari. And the plan was me and him were going to go up to the school a little early, meet up with some other friends, and then smoke before, go to the dance, and then link up and smoke afterwards. So he picks me up, we go over his house, and we're waiting. We're waiting for like maybe 30, 40 minutes. This is the first time I've ever been to his house before, so it was a little awkward. I was just trying to make conversation and shit. But after we waited for about 40 minutes, we went up to the school, and we linked up with our other friends, Divorce and Kyrie. So we kind of got there early. They was putting the finishing touches on the whole dance and everything, getting everything set up. So we decided that we should smoke now and go get something to eat and then come back to the dance. Decided to make our moves to our nice little smoking spot, which was around the corner from the school. And the smoking spot, it was kind of like a dirt path that separated these two houses between them. So we were standing there, and it was dark, and we had like a little pipe and maybe like a gram at most of weed. I mean, we had more weed, but it was for like after the dance when we were going to smoke as the larger group, because right now it was just the 4 of us. So we didn't want to go back into the dance reeking of weed or anything, so we decided to take off our shirts and everything before we started smoking. At the time, I was wearing a white button-up with a skinny black tie. Now, I really like this skinny black tie. I think I had just got it like 2 weeks ago. So I was pretty happy about, wearing it, and I was ready to bust it out. So we decided to take our stuff off and rest it on like this fence that was right over there. This small little kind of hip-high fence. So I took my shirt off and I took my tie. I laid it across this fence, and I put my tie over the top of my shirt. We started smoking. Now, I was still pretty fresh to the smoking game at that point. I think I only had smoked maybe like 7 or 8 times before that, but there were like a lot of distance between those times. It was like maybe the closest was maybe like a month. once we started to pass around the bowl and everything, I got maybe like 2 good hits in. 2 good hits. I didn't realize how high I was gonna get from those 2 hits. After about maybe 5 minutes of us kind of standing there talking, joking around and crap, I realized like how high I actually was and how I was only gonna keep getting higher from that point, which is scary, but I was having fun. So after about like 10 minutes of standing out there, laughing, joking, crap, we decided that we should probably get dressed and go grab something to eat real quick. So we start getting dressed, and I look over at the fence, and I grab my shirt, and I button it up and everything, and I look to go find my tie, and my tie wasn't there. So we looking around, and I'm like, I'm getting mad because I just bought that tie, and I was so happy to have it. And I was looking around, and I could not find my tie. I looked all over the floor. It was dark over there. There was no lights, and we just really couldn't find it. So we're like, fuck it, let's just head to. Once we got to Walgreens, we were just looking around the aisles, of course, being high, looking at all the candy and snacks, and how we just wanted to get it all. So we're like all grabbing our individual shit, and I decided to grab this big ass 2-liter of Dr. Pepper. I don't know why I was so thirsty at the time. I just knew that I was ready to kill some Dr. Pepper, and that 2-liter was it. So, standing in line, waiting to get all our shit, and I think I was the second person in line, so I was waiting outside for them to finish up getting rang up and everything. Now, you guys know, with Walgreens, they have those little border things that protect the front doors so nobody can drive into it with their car. Yeah, well, we were standing over there by those little pole things, and this is when the shit started to get weird. So, in my mind, I was standing on the pole, kind of walking around it in circular motion. I had my eyes closed, but in my mind, when I was walking around it, it felt like I was walking down some circular stairs. Just walking down those stairs that just go down and down and down, just endless stairs. And I was just walking, minding my own business. I think they were in there for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, and they came out and saw me walking. Of course, busted out laughing, asking me what I'm doing. My only response to that was, I'm walking down these stairs. They were asking me, what stairs were you walking down? Of course, they didn't understand what I was talking about, so we were like, alright, let's just go ahead and make these moves back to the school. So we started walking back to the school. And about halfway from the school, they asked me, like, where's your 2-liter go? And the only thing that I can remember about what happened to that fucking 2-liter was I put it down on those fucking stairs. When I was walking down the little stairs, I was tired of carrying it. I set it on the stair, and I kept walking. We went back to Walgreens. There was no Dr. Pepper to be found. None. So at that point, I had came to the conclusion that I was higher than I've ever been in my life. Mind you, again, it was only 2 hits, but it had to be some of the dankest weed I've ever had, because I've never experienced a situation where I was walking down some spiral stairs and I mysteriously lost a 2-liter during that process. These imaginary stairs, till this day, have still eluded me and confused me, and who knows. So, we got back to that little alleyway where we were initially smoking at, and we were walking through it to get to the school. So, we get maybe halfway through the little path, and I see this dark figure like on the ground as we're walking. Now, I had already told you that I lost the tie, and we still haven't found it. So, I just knew in my heart that that dark figure was my tie. So I'm like, looking at them, like hyping up, like, hey, yo, here's my tie, it's right here. They're like, what? And as I go down to like pick up the tie, like, I like pick up nothing. Like, I grab the air. And then that's when I realize I just tried to pick up a fucking shadow. Like, just a long shadow on the ground, and I tried to pick it up. I thought it was my fucking tie. So once I realized that it was a shadow, I just couldn't help but fucking laugh. Like, we were all just dead, dying of laughter, and it was too much. I knew, like, I had to be the highest motherfucker in the fucking world to try and pick up a goddamn shadow off the ground. Like, oh my god. Alright, so at this point, I was way too fucking hype. I had got my tie back. I was still high as shit, and they just started playing, like, the playlist. So motherfuckers were in there, you know, jumping around, all this kind of ignorant shit, of course. But after about, like, 10 to 15 minutes of just going ham, we decided that we're finally going to all link up and go have this massive smoke session. So we all get in each other's cars and drive over to this park that was not too far from the school. So at this time, there was maybe like, I don't know, like 10 of us all there, maybe even more than that. All in this big ass group rolling up our, you know, individual weed, smoking and shit. So I say we got maybe like five or four blunts in rotation at this point, and we're all smoking and chatting it up, laughing, having a good time. I think we were out there for like a good hour and a half, all smoking, just killing the rest of the weed, laughing it up, chatting it up. Not too much really happened. We were all just kind of clowning. I honestly can't remember really what we were talking about. It was, like I said, a while ago. But yeah, I've told that story to so many people, and they all laugh their ass off, and it's all just ridiculous. I mean, you really have to be high to try and pick up a shadow and walking down imaginary stairs and losing Dr. Pepper. And I didn't think I was going to be that high, but apparently when you're, you know, fresh to weed, you just have those experiences. And that was definitely one of the best smoking experiences I've had, and one of the most outrageous. That's it for that story. I mean, moral of the story really is just make sure you always got your shit if you're going to be smoking with the homies, and always double check, because they could be fucking with you. Also, watch out for those elusive ass fucking imaginary stairs. They'll catch you, and they'll take your fucking Dr. Pepper. Like I said earlier, this is the new channel that I'm going to be starting, and I'm going to have more stories soon, even crazier, wilder, and obscene shit that's happened to me coming. And if you guys like it, subscribe, follow, like, share, and just be on the lookout. This has been Siah from the Block, and welcome to the District Era.